Welcome to Showcase We Like It, the Man United, the rest of the channel for United and football fans, the biggest and best fan channel in United States. So while you're watching, smash a like and don't forget to subscribe. I'm joined here by the singing director, Houston and Denver Red Army, the one and only Louis. Louis, how are you, brother?
Man, I'm feeling good, man. We're in a good place right now.
Right. After the the victory at the Emirates, take beating them in the Emirates Cup at the Emirates. We had a home game against Southampton. Bear with me. The football today was scintillating, mesmerizing. It was prime Barcelona football. I was so taken aback by the football I was watching, like, wow, these guys are fantastic. No, they were not that at all. They were appalling, shambolic for the first couple of. Had Onana not been on his game and Southampton could finish, I'm sorry, we would have been at least three down. Let's say two down.
Yeah.
Again, we cannot do well in set pieces.
Yeah.
Euro was, they twisted him so much, he started feeling dizzy. That guy was torturing him. He tormented him, tortured him. The poor guy, I think he learned a lesson today. This is the Premier League, mate. That guy, is it Solomon? Oh my word. Euro didn't know what to do, mate. He didn't start tackling. The guy was just tormenting. Then there's a guy called Dibley who plays for Southampton. Very skillful player. Very young guy, a bit tall, but you can see, I think United should get that guy. He's
You
that
think?
kind of guy. Yeah, he has the ability to take the ball. He's a ball carrier, but with skills.
Yeah. No, look, it was all over the park today. First 75 minutes of that game, first 80 minutes of that game, absolutely abysmal. Um, I would say big ups to Ten Hag. Good Lord. What year are we
Then
living
I
in?
was he's in Holland watching the game like,
Big ups
dang,
to Ruben, Amarin, the disrespect. I apologize, my sincerest apologies.
that's all right,
But
mate.
I have to give the manager credit, because I think I think Onana plays well because of the pressure that was put on his spot.
Mm-hmm.
I think, what we've seen in the past is I think he expected to be into to go in there and be average in our last bout. He comes out, he has an amazing game. Difficult first half for Bienda, but amazing second half.
Mm.
Looks absolutely fantastic. Now the starting goalkeeper comes back and he has to shine. He has to
Mm.
prove why he's the starting goalkeeper. He feels the pressure from below. And again, like you say, first half, absolute man of the match because all over the park we were absolutely abysmal. The midfield was incredibly slow. The pace was incredibly slow. Bad passes, non-threatening in the attack. In the defense, Euro is abysmal. Is abysmal. He's 19. Um, and the only way to go is up. And, we will take stock that he is 19 and that he's been playing extremely well. Comes on for Arsenal, has a fantastic tackle within the box.
Yeah.
And yeah, like you say, today is not his day. But that is Manchester United. That is Busby Babes football. That is, we are the number one team in the world for youth talent within the first team. And so this is what we want to see. So I will say this. I will not go after the young players, but
Right.
they have to be put on notice that today was not a good day.
No.
Um, Ahmad,
Rasmus.
Rasmus, poor
But
Raz.
I did
Uh,
see a nice cutback. He ran down the line. Normally Rasmus would have tried to shoot. He cut it back for Ganacho. And what the hell?
I will
The
say, number one, Garnacho, you have to absolutely finish that. At least
Yes.
put it on
You
target.
remember that one, right?
No, of course I do. It was his first attempt in the
Mm,
game. You have to at least put that one on target, if not bury it.
mm.
Thought it was a little. I'm gonna nitpick. I thought it was a little late. The cutback from
Rasmus.
Rasmus. I think Garnacho would have expected a little bit earlier. but I think that cutback is indicative of what we saw over the course of the game. It was extremely slow. Bruno taking two, three, four touches at a
I don't
when
know what happened to
to
them, mate.
when
I
the
don't
ball
know
needs
what
to
happened.
move. Mainu overall, I thought was poor, slow, gets taken off at halftime.
Yeah,
Again,
that was
young,
like,
been a, he's been a standout talent for us, absolutely. And we want these young guys to thrive, but we also know that the young guys will struggle. The young guys will struggle because this is football. This is the Premier League. It's the most difficult league in the world. I still believe. And these guys will have off days, and we know that they're going to have off days. Um, However, substitutions, I they were great. I thought
Xerxes,
Xerxes comes in, changes the game. Eriksson comes in with the
that
assist.
pass.
Absolutely fantastic. And notice that pass, even though his pace is absolutely through the floor, it's absolutely abysmal. His ability to play quickly, to play balls in one touch. It's a one touch clip over the top, and Ahmad on the run finishes it off 2-1. Hey, game over, done, deal, and dusted. Um, it's absolutely fantastic. And we need that energy and we need that
You see
that
the
that
endeavor he
game
goes to
coming from the bench.
harass those defenders. He did that. He's already done that against Spurs. He did that against Polk. I think in the
He's an amazing passer of the ball. He's an amazing passer of the ball, and he's a true Vikinger, a Viking. He is a man who, no matter his age, no matter how tired, no matter the hurdles that he comes from, he has dreams of one day entering Valhalla, and he will fight until the absolute end, but he'll do it in a very, very good way. Every time he comes in, especially when he starts, the conversation is all just about, man, we're not going to have any pace in the midfield, and it's gonna be so rough. But he is a player who is constantly looking forward, who is constantly looking to play the ball in towards dangerous areas in less touches, balls with pace, balls with accuracy. Again, is he the future? Absolutely not. But coming off the bench, he's an extremely important player for us when the young guys struggle, and he can
right,
be that. He can be that role model. He can be that example. That's like, hey, when you come in, this is how you're impactful. This is how
right,
we
right,
play on the front foot. This is how we can be more attacking. Um, Difficult overall, I think, for a lot of players. I think you're starting to see bright spots of the style, definitely. But that being said, we still need to do a bit of business. We still need to bring in some players that I think fit more towards the style, and we got to get rid of some of the dead weight.
right.
You
So
know.
as it stands,
Mhm.
0-0. I mean 1-0 down from a set piece. Onana keeps us in the game to the half. We lose a few chances. Eric, like you said, um, Rasmus cut the ball too late. Then they brought on Anthony, your favorite player of
The
all
GOAT.
time, the GOAT. He comes in.
Good night.
He was, I don't know, there was a chance they passed to him. Ganacho cut the ball for him.
A
All he
brilliant
needed,
pass from Garnacho.
yeah.
It was absolutely brilliant. Perfectly timed, perfectly
Did the
weighted.
ball, did he mistime it? Because I don't know what he did there. I really don't know. I don't know if
I
it
think he got
slipped.
excited. I think he said, this is it, this is it, this is it, this is it. And I think he absolutely
He flopped
fumbled
his
the
lines
ball.
big time.
Oh man. What I will say about Anthony, and I think what a lot of people say about Anthony, I constantly hear it, is the man does try. He tries his absolute best. He comes in and he works, he runs with pace. Defensively, he gets stuck in, like he does try to win the ball. Oh man, but on the going forward in the attack, it's been one bad game after another, and
Right.
and and a lot of people are calling for Garnacho for the axe, and uh Garnacho is 21,
Mm-hmm.
22, and Anthony is 25 or
Mm-hmm.
6.
Mm-hmm.
Where is the potential and where is the player that you need to move on? Ugarte is another one where he's a young guy and yeah, he scores the own goal. But before that, I thought he was the best player on the field.
He's,
Um,
I
you
like
know,
him. I like him.
Garnacho misses that attempt. It's our first attempt of the game, and it really should have been a goal.
It should have been a goal.
After that, I thought he had a decent game overall. Was it something to slap on the front
I
page?
don't think
No,
Garnacho played badly. He should have scored. Yes, he
no,
should have
I
scored.
don't. I
He
don't
should have
think he
scored.
played. Yeah,
I
I don't.
thought Bruno.
Yeah,
I mean, there was that penalty claim we wanted there. They said it whatever that
yeah.
happened.
I
Then
think
there was
what it is the young guys. I think where the fan base, or maybe some more than others, but I think we jump on the young guys too easily for mistakes that young guys will make, and
right.
I think that we don't call out the veterans who
Hmm.
are supposed to be the ones that put in the eights and the nines.
Yeah,
Uh, you know, um,
consistent.
the yeah, who are the ones that are supposed to have the consistency. I don't think we focus on that one too much, probably because those are our favorite players. Bruno is one of my favorite players by far. I think there is never a lack of effort. I think there is never a lack of intensity. But yeah, he's had a run of some rough games, and that's probably because I mean he's playing 90 minutes 3 times a week. Part of that is because we don't have a decent backup for him. Even if you put like the likes of an Ericsson there, he needs to come off at some point because
Mm,
he's an older player. 90 minutes is difficult with the lack of the pace. Mason Mount is broken,
as usual,
injured,
nothing's changed.
not anywhere near first team football at the moment. So we ask a
He'll
lot
be
of these.
back in Easter.
Yeah. God, I hope so. And unless
Easter, which will be toward the end of
hey,
the season.
you say that, and then we read in the Sun that he pulled something bending over for an Easter egg. I don't know. Uh, like I really don't know. Luke Shaw is
Oh God.
my absolute favorite left back of like the last God long time, and
That
again, like he
guy.
stubs his
I
toe
don't
and
know.
he's
I don't know. I don't know that guy.
there's so much potential and so much talent within the younger players.
Mm,
But we can't put it all on these guys.
no.
Even Ahmad had an abysmal game.
Oh, no, up to that
He had
point,
an
up to the
absolute
goals, he was not having a great game. Nothing
his
was
first attempt
sticking. Everything he tried was not working.
his
But
his first
the
attempt on
difference,
goal
the difference.
was
Mm,
yeah, his first attempt he was outside of the 18. He was
mm,
under pressure. He has no
mm,
business to shoot. If the goal is here, his shot was somewhere out here.
mm.
I mean, it was beyond Rosette. I mean, it might have chipped the windshield in a car park.
There you go.
His first pass of the game, I don't know if you remember that. It was like 90 seconds into the game, or maybe 2 minutes into the game. I
Mm,
think I believe it's Euro, makes the overlap, and he passes it like 15 yards behind him, and it goes straight out of bounds. And he's over dribbling, and it's slow, and it's all these things. The difference, though, is he scored some Fergie time goals.
yes, and he
And
did not give up. Is
and
that no
and
retreat, no
that
surrender
that needs to be the example or
of
the
every
expectation.
player?
No, well, I will say that needs to be the example of our younger players, our
Yes,
youngest.
Be
Give it
hungry,
everything,
fight
be
to the
hungry,
very last.
100%. That is Manchester United football. That's Fergie time football. I think there was a Sir Alex Ferguson. This was years ago after he retired, and he was speaking at an event, and he was talking about uh he was talking about something like we scored 160 some odd goals in stoppage time
Wow.
throughout his career at Manchester United, and he's like that's not me. He's like, that's not coached. He's like, that is down to the players. That is the hunger of the players, especially the young players, the guys that we bring up through the system who bleed for the badge, who love the badge. He's like, that came from those types of players, the players that
Right.
love the game.
Right.
And as you see, the dead weight that we continue to carry, they don't have that. There's no need to go all out, fight to the last whistle, have the hunger and the drive if you're on 350K a week can't be fired, can't be sold. You know,
Just
this
just an
is
albatross around the neck.
it really is. I think this game, even though it's Southampton, they're bottom of the table. The first
They
70,
played well. If they could finish
they
and
played with
had a
intensity and
striker
energy.
who could put the ball in the net, they should have buried us by halftime, and there would have been no
They really
coming
should.
back.
But again, that's, I mean, again, I full props to him as much as I dog on him, like full props to Onana
Mm.
because he made some very, very good saves in the beginning of the game. He was up for it. He was energized. Absolutely loved it. But we couldn't build out of our own half because of the intensity and the energy of these younger
Yeah,
Southampton players. Not
yeah,
all of them younger,
yeah,
but a lot of them are.
yeah.
Um, and we need the pieces. We need Amarim's players. We need to supplement a team that is doing well. They're doing much better under the Amarim system. Um, and again, he's again props to the manager that he's not taking the BS. He's benching the problem players. No matter their status,
Mm.
no matter their amount of followers, which we know got you in the old days. Right after Ferguson left. The amount of followers you had on Facebook and Instagram got you into the team sheet. We know that.
Exactly.
He's saying like if you don't put in that type of effort, you don't play.
You're not playing.
And he's giving the guys, it's clear that he's giving the guys that are doing well the chances to continue to start. He's, Euro, I think very much earned his start after the Arsenal game, especially because the likes of Maguire need to be rested because he has been playing so many minutes.
Right.
And that's something that we haven't had, and we still don't have in certain positions. Like I said with Bruno, like you can't rest him because who do you put there?
Mm.
So we're starting to see the pieces kind of start to come together, but this manager has to continue to be backed.
Right.
Sir Jim's got to open up the wallet. He's got to stop trying to bleed the fans dry, which I think the price increase is absolutely abysmal. Um, you know, uh, we saw glimpses of what could be a future of Man United football, not because it was good, but because the players that needed to stick their necks out stuck their necks out.
Right.
And it's happy days. It's happy days.
It was, you see, like you said earlier, it wasn't a great game. United were poor, but they don't ask you how did they play. They ask you who won the game.
They don't ask how, they
United
ask how many.
United won and got the 3 points. They move on. Lessons will be learned. Defensively, they were poor. Up front, they were poor. They couldn't fit. The midfield was overrun.
And
The
one,
changes they made,
yeah,
Xerxes now able to tie the team together.
yes,
It was
yes,
like the conductor in on
yeah,
an symphony. He
mm,
was conducting. He kind of like took over. He's like, all right, Bruno, I got this. I
yeah.
got this. And
And
he,
he's a player that can play in towards that position as well. I don't think he can do like a whole 90, like to replace a Bruno, for example, but he
mm,
can drop into that 10 space and he can create and he can hold up the ball and he can maintain possession for us. I think it's great. It's fantastic. I thought Maguire came coming on late. I thought he did a job. I thought it was good. Again, a player I don't believe is the future, but as for now, as long as you can rotate him in and he does the things that he needs to do, I'm happy. Um, uh, uh, who's the other midfielder we brought on? Because we brought on Ericsson, we
Ericsson, Anthony,
Anthony,
Xerxes.
Xerxes. Who played? Oh, because we dropped Bruno into the midfield. Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh, yeah. No, I think I there's a lot of positives to take away. It's clearly some negatives. What we do need to understand is as far as the league goes, as far as the Premier League goes this season, these are the games we need to win.
that's it. You see, on the
And
show, on the podcast we had on Sunday,
yeah,
we had, funny enough, we had UK, we had US, and we had guys from Trinidad for the first time.
nice.
So,
I need to go back.
Bams, Mr. Controversy, said, so we asked everyone, out of these two games, Brighton and Southampton, how many points do you think United are going to get? No one said 6 points. No one said six
No,
points.
no, I don't, and I don't expect
They
six.
The most they said was four,
Yeah,
2, 1. Ben said, "There's no way." He said, "We're gonna lose one of those games,
Yeah.
even though they're at home." So
Yeah.
even the confidence of a home game is not there anymore, mate.
Well, what I was going to say is this is a game that you have to win. Anybody that's kind of below you, you have to win because at this point, and I don't think it's necessary. I wouldn't call it a relegation battle, but you do have to stay ahead of those teams.
Hundred
And
percent.
and when you're losing a game like this, you need the Fergie time football. You need someone to step up. You
Yeah,
need someone to
yeah,
come in and win that
yeah.
game because we still have to play City. We still have to play
Arsenal.
Brighton. That's not going to be easy. Even Fulham is not going to be an easy
Oh
game.
no, Fulham's a
Um,
good side, mate. Fulham is a good
you
side.
know, if I look at our matches, I'm pulling it up right now. Like we
We
still
have
have to play Spurs, still have to play Forest, still have to play City, still have to play Chelsea, still have to
Oof,
play our last game in May is against Villa,
that's
and we
a
still have to play Newcastle again. I mean,
that's a strong game, bro.
I don't expect to win a whole lot of these games. We'll pick up some points here or there. Absolutely, we will.
And drop some.
But we still have to play Everton. We still have to play I think we play Bournemouth one more time. We play Leicester again. Like those
Arsenal.
yeah, no, we still have to play Arsenal again. And like
Say
those
again.
games are the ones that you have to win because that's pretty much your focus on the Premier League. I
Mm.
think your priorities, I think you're going to focus on the Europa League. I think you're going to focus on the FA Cup.
FA Cup.
The league, we know we can only go so high. We
Oh
know we
yeah.
could
The
go
race
so
to
high.
40 points.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. So those are the games that you have to focus on, and I don't think that we can start ripping players because we're not skirting Southampton 3-0,
Right,
4-0,
right,
games done and
right,
dusted in the first half. I don't think we can expect those types of results, at least not this season.
right.
If we do some business in January, which we absolutely have to, and
We have to. I'm hoping
if we
we
do some
do.
business in the summer, then we can start kind of talking about where we start competing in the league come
Mm-hmm.
season.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we're competing for a title, but we can kind of start to talk about what the league focus might be. I
Right,
think right now it's can you get in Europe or at least stay in Europe with the Europa League?
right,
And if you can win a domestic cup, I think it's just kind of the icing on the cake for an Amber time. And
right.
if you don't win the Europa League, that's your backup, right? You get in towards the Europa League by winning the FA Cup again, like we did last
There you
season.
go. There you go.
And
So as you were saying, up to 75 minutes, we
no, it
were
was good.
nowhere near our best.
It
I
was
don't
good.
know if they
But
were
I mean,
lethargic. They
also we're
looked
coming off.
tired.
Yeah, we're coming off of massively exhausting games. Arsenal,
120 minutes. That's
120 minutes. Right before that, drawing Liverpool. Right before that, losing to Newcastle. Like those were very, very big games, difficult games where we did put a lot of effort and we saw some positives and we saw some negatives.
mm,
You know, and it's like, yeah, can you coast now? It's like, well, no, you can't really coast it because you're exhausted. There's nothing left in the tank to coast.
right.
Um, but big ups on Ahmad. It's
Yeah, I
so
mean, the look at the first goal. Xerxes sprays it to Ndana right. He goes, he runs direct, cuts in, twists and turns. The ball ricochets back to him, back to his right shot, right and goal. We're in
yeah,
1-1. At this point, we're hoping okay, 1-1. We're on point.
yeah,
So the fans are rejuvenated. I think some of them are kind of like, what the f are we going losing again at home to Southampton?
yeah.
Then they break again. Xerxes and Bruno, or I can't remember.
The second one was the Ericsson
Yeah,
chip.
that chip
Yeah,
was
yeah.
so. So Ahmad
So
goes
good.
down the right, passes to Ericsson,
Hmm.
and Ericsson it seemed. So you ask yourself, why did Ahmad make the run when he passed Ericsson? It was like, hey, I'm passing to a return, give me a return pass, and the
Yeah,
pass was perfect. I said like, hey,
yeah. No, it was phenomenal. It was absolutely phenomenal, and that's what Ericsson is capable of.
it
You
was
know.
it was just delicate, just right, dropped right in front of him, and it was 2-1. At that point, I think Southampton were like, what? Because
Oh,
it
they were
was so
devastated.
sudden.
They were devastated. The look on the manager's face, like,
It was
man,
it was a broken man.
yeah,
Then they start. the playing from the back, and this has cost a lot of goalkeepers this season. Playing from the back and messing around. And Ahmad is always he did this in Europa League. He did this in the Carling Cup, in the Carabao Cup against Spurs. He always anticipates. He puts that extra pressure
Yeah.
to like, I'm gonna put you under pressure, and he never fails. But all those things he's done, I cannot. I've not seen Rashford do that. As in try and
Nah, yeah, it's been a while. It's been a while since we've seen that kind of spark because again, a guy that came out of the youth setup had a lot to prove. Um, you know, I remember there was a lot of talk like back in the early days, really even before that about like how much we were putting on his shoulders, what our expectations of him were.
he went to
And
Rangers, went to Sunderland. He did a
and
great job there.
you know, but like just back in the days, like when Rashford was really trying to run and gun and prove himself, and he did some amazing things. We'll never forget the night in Paris. You know these kinds of things. I think you know for lack of a better phrase, like it goes to his head, and you put him on money, you put him on incredible
He got,
wages,
they've just given a new
and
contract 90,000
yeah, well you
from
put him on.
25 to 90,000.
Yeah, but again, like you can you compare that to like what we put Rashford on. When did we sign his 5-year deal? Like was that last year or the year before?
Last year.
But you know, you put him on $350,000 a week is an untouchable wage. It's an untouchable wage. Like 90,000, like yeah, it's a lot, especially towards a young kid like Ahmad. And it has to be managed, and you have to nurture. You still have to nurture the player and keep his feet on the ground. Um, you know, but with Rashford, it's like we made him untouchable. Not only that, he's surrounded by an entourage of yes men. And yeah, why should he go score the Fergie time goals? And why should he risk himself in 50-50s where he could
Going
risk
to
it
harass a goalkeeper, making a
and yeah,
pass.
all this kinds of stuff? Like, why should he? We've already given him the bag, you know? So now we see him towards a situation where you know, where it appears that the effort is not there, that he doesn't care, this, that, and the other, and he says he does, but his performances aren't there, and then it comes out that every manager has had a problem with him, and now the current manager is having a problem with him. You know, that has to be.
What's the common factor? He's the common
Yeah,
factor.
that's exactly right, and that has to be again, that has to be the example for us to be like, we can no longer do business that way anymore.
No.
We can't entice players to come towards Manchester United by offering them ridiculous amounts of wages. Then they get here and
Look
they
at
realize,
Sancho.
yeah, they
Sancho
get
was
here.
Ericsson. You see, Ericsson. Someone's telling me Ericsson should have been imprisoned for his crimes against Ahmad. That he should
Eric.
go to prison for. Not Ericsson. Ten Hag should go to prison
Oh,
for the crimes against Ahmad. So
uh,
he had
I don't necessarily think so.
no, no, okay.
Um,
He had Anthony ahead of he had Anthony,
yeah,
Garnacho, Rashford, Sancho all ahead of Ahmad, right?
yeah,
Ahmad had little cameo last season.
yeah,
Then that FA Cup semi quarterfinal against Liverpool that opened his path. Then his preseason phenomenal. He
yeah.
started the season on fire. But when he has one bad game, you're going on the bench. But when Rashford, Sancho, Garnacho have bad games, oh, they're playing next week. They are
Well,
playing.
and again, I think a lot of people, and this is a conversation I always had so many times. It's like I don't necessarily put that on Ten Hag though, and I still think that
Who would it be on? Not
I
us.
still hold on. I think that Ten Hag is still a great coach, and I think his understanding of football is very good. But again, this is how we did business. There was pressure from the club, and you can't tell me that there wasn't. You know, to have these players that were on these ridiculous wages playing. No one, and especially not Ten Hag, told United to go spend 80 million on Anthony. Absolutely no one in their mama said go spend 80 million on Anthony. And honestly, if we had bought him for, I think the price tag around the time was about somewhere between 35 and
And
45,
45. Yep.
somewhere in there. If you had paid that, his current form and appearances honestly would make a little bit more sense because he would still be a rotational player. Because we spent 80 million and because that was Ten Hag's pick, it had to work. It had to work.
But when
Uh,
did Ten Hag realize it's not working? You
it,
can't put a square peg in a round hole. No way.
100%. But again, you can't tell me that there wasn't pressure from the top that said it had
I
to work.
agree. There must have been.
And
There
they
must have been. But
like
back
people
then,
were
Rashford
talking
wasn't
about,
on three. Rashford wasn't on 350 at the time. Rashford was on about 120 something or
but
130
he was
or
still the
200. No,
franchise.
200. 200.
He was still the franchise player. He was still the
Yes.
face of Manchester United, and he
Yeah.
still had to be playing. And even around the time of the whole Sancho debacle, there were so many fans that were saying, "Why Sancho and not Rashford?" I was saying both. I was saying, I thought that Rashford at the time was playing better than Sancho,
Yes.
100%.
Yes.
And I thought if you had to pick one, I was going to pick Rashford all day. But at the
Right.
same time, I was like, they're actually both not really performing that
Mm-mm.
well. And again, there
No.
was a lot of questions around the effort of Rashford, and there was the leaks about players turning up late, and he was one of them. Not as bad as Sancho, but apparently he was one of them. And then, of course, it comes out this year that everybody's had a problem with him. Yeah,
He needs to realize the sun doesn't shine. The sun and the moon doesn't revolve around him.
but again, he's surrounded by
Player
people that are telling him,
Players will be moved on. It's
yeah,
that simple.
yeah,
Greater players and bigger players have been moved on, who've
and that's
achieved more than
yeah,
him in this club.
and that's I think we keep saying like we need to get kind of back to that. And it's not necessarily that we need to go backwards, but we do have to remember that there was a standard set where the player put the club first. It's like yes,
Yes.
you're on big money. Yeah, well,
Yes.
for the time. It's like yes, you're on big money. Yes, there's a lot of
Yeah.
opportunity for you, but you're on big money because of what the club is.
Yes.
You wouldn't get paid without Manchester United, and there wouldn't be a Manchester United without the player, of course.
Without that, about that.
100%. But it's like there has to be a level of respect, both
100%.
for the badge, for the
No.
manager, for the fans, and I think, or at least I hope, that as long as Amarim is allowed to continue with this kind of path where it's like, look, if you can't give that respect, then go. If he's allowed to continue to do that, it's the future is bright. The future is bright. But
Yeah.
if at any point Sir Jim or Ineos or God forbid the Glazers decide that they want to step in and start demanding and putting pressure in these kinds of things,
Mm,
all of a sudden all this progress that we've made goes out the window.
definitely. Definitely.
And there's still a bunch of things that like I don't agree with. I don't think the price hike on tickets is I don't think it's a good idea.
No.
It's I think it's a very American thing to do, frankly. And trying to bleed the fans to solve your problems, trying to pass the cost onto your customers never
Right.
works. It never works in any
Never
industry.
works.
You have to look internally and you have to solve the problems internally. You can't bleed people dry,
Right.
expect it to work. So yeah, man, there's many variables that could take this the complete opposite direction, and we have to look at moments like this not as job done. Look at us go, we're doing so well,
Right.
but like, yes, we got the job done, but look at all the holes, look at all the things
Oh
that need
yeah,
to.
like I said, even Stevie Wonder would have seen that this game was horrible. So before you go, we got last question.
Yeah.
On a scale of 1 to 10, what are you giving the team's performance today? 3 points, 3 goals. But what are you grading the team as a whole unit today? I'm not going to ask you man of the match because it's obvious it's Anthony.
Honestly, if I was gonna say man of the match, it would be twofold. I would say Onana first half, and then I would say Ahmad second half because
Mm.
again, first half Ahmad was abysmal. Um,
So
and
Ahmed opened, Onana opened it. Ahmed closed the game.
you know what? I will say this. We got the 3 points. The football was not good. I cannot judge the entire team on the last 8 minutes of Ahmad Diallo. So therefore, I'll even be a little bit generous here and give it a 5. It's below average.
5 out of 10
It's
for a team
below
that came
average,
from behind to win 3 goals.
below average,
It
but you did get the
shows.
points. And that being said, it's not that everyone was so far abysmal. Like again, Ugarte, I thought up until the own goal was our best player, for a field player because again, I think Onana was
Mm,
absolutely amazing.
mm, mm,
De Ligt, I thought put in a great shift.
mm.
I thought overall, defensively overall, we weren't bad. Euro had a really, really rough
Oh
time
God,
with
that
it.
was shocking, mate. Absolutely
Again,
shocking.
19 years old. He's gonna have some rough times, 100%. Mazraoui is not a left-footed player. He doesn't like playing in that left-footed position. We need to buy a left back. That being said, he's had tons of good games for us, and I
Mm.
believe he can be going forward. He's going to be a very important player for us. Mainu, bad, but
Oh,
young.
I know who. I know the midfielder, Collier. He was the one who came on.
Well,
Collier.
oh my gosh, how could we? He
Yes.
played so well.
Yeah.
And he played so well against Arsenal. That
Yes.
kid is the future is bright.
Mm,
The
mm,
future is bright. Again, I thought the subs were great. I thought they were at the right time. I would give Ruben, let's give him a 7 overall.
7 for
Um,
his tactics, substitution, and selection
substitution,
today.
yeah, I will let's give him a 7 overall. I give the team a 5 overall. There were some bright spots. There were a lot of bad spots.
Yeah.
Um, and we keep going. We keep
Right.
going.
Well, our next game is home to Brighton. Home to Brighton, who are
Tough.
a better footballing side than Southampton.
Solid win today against Ipswich.
Ipswich 2-0, knocked it out. Easy. Kept it
Yeah.
moving. If we play like this on Sunday, it's going to be an annihilation, mate. Easily. Because Brighton,
Oh
they
yeah,
don't
no,
play games. They do
yeah,
not play.
100%.
And Daniel Welbeck always seems to score against us. I'm not looking forward to that. I'm not really looking forward to that game at all. I'm hoping we could get a result. If we win, that would be fantastic. But I don't even know anymore, mate. I really don't know. But Louis, it's been an absolute pleasure
Always a
on
pleasure,
this
Mr.
game. It wasn't, like you said, it wasn't the greatest game. It was very poor. If you take away, say Amma didn't play today, we'll be singing a different tune, won't we?
Yeah, if it was the law instead,
Mm.
rough. We don't score. We don't score.
No, we don't. I think
No.
we lose that game today easily. It's
Yeah.
one man's vision. Like, these guys are messing around. Let me go harass them.
Yeah.
It's that intuition, like, let me see what's out here. And that's an extra goal. Extra goal. Hat trick. Rafford has been at the club 9 years, not even got a hat trick. This guy, that's a discussion for another day, mate. But Louis, it's been an
Yeah.
absolute pleasure. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. We are hounding down the 8,000. We're heading to our 8,000. That's our target. So, we are only 100 short for 8,000 subscribers. So just join us, subscribe, and keep following the channel as we are growing and growing and growing. Louis, thank you so much for coming on. On the night, Ahmad became Superman in 10 minutes. From all of us, glory, glory,
Man
Man
United.
United. See you, brother. You take it easy.
Yeah, have a great night, Tim.
You did.